It's Friday, so I thought I would do a little bit of a recap of my week. Had a couple interesting experiences with clients and things that happened to me, and I think there's some good takeaways there that I thought I would share with you. So the first thing I wanted, yesterday I had such a problem with Zoom. I had multiple client meetings set up that I was hosting for different projects, and my PC decided to do like a Windows update overnight, so when I came in and tried to get onto my Zoom, I couldn't get on because Zoom didn't recognize me, so it sent me a verification code. Of course, that verification code didn't come through. Tried it again, still didn't come through. Ended up having to miss the first call, which I had to reschedule. Went back and forth with support, and of course it was impossible to get in touch with Zoom support, even though I have a paid Zoom account. Their support is all chatbots and automated phone systems, and you have to be able to get into your account to verify your account to get support, which obviously I couldn't do. Ended up having to basically bypass all that and go to the billing department, because of course billing people are going to pick up the phone. And after probably 4 or 5 hours, I was able to get a solution out of the billing people, who aren't even tech support, which was very simple and could have been offered to me as a solution at the very beginning through tech support, which was very frustrating, because after spending all that time and like losing half my day trying to get into Zoom, it was like, why didn't someone just tell me this at the beginning? And it just made me realize, like, Zoom's a huge company. They have the money to invest in good customer service. And the fact that I'm a paying customer, I couldn't get such basic support on my Zoom account, was really just unnecessary and really disappointing for such a big company. And so, I was just thinking about, like, if you have an e-commerce site and you make it hard for people to get in touch with you, especially when they have problems, you're just frustrating your customers. And it was just like really negative branding for Zoom, because like I used to really like Zoom, and this one experience has just really changed the way I think about them. So that was one thing that happened. I talked to a new potential client who was really interesting, because she had someone build her a custom design, and she's just not happy with it at all. And I asked her, like, oh, okay, do you have some things you want to change? And she sent me this list, and it was a long list. I mean, tons of stuff. And so many of the things that she wanted to change were things that had actually been customized by her previous agency that she hired. So she kept saying, like, I don't know why they did it this way. Why can't I just use the way the theme comes by default, like the way the theme demo shows? And I was like, I don't know. That was the choice that they made. They changed it from the way the theme default is, and she actually would have preferred the theme default. And so many of my responses were like, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure this is fixable, but I'm going to have to get into your code to see like how they customized it, why they did that. And what was so interesting to me is, like, so many of the things that the problems that she was having were related to her operations. Like, the agency built her a custom description accordion that that only works if she enters the descriptions using HTML, so the accordion's open and closed properly. But her product descriptions get pushed up from a third-party inventory management system, and she can't put HTML in that inventory management system, which means that every time she pushes up a new product, she then has to go into BigCommerce, rewrite it, and code it in HTML so the accordion works. And if she does an update for a product from that third-party system, it overwrites the HTML, and then the accordions don't work. So it's just a great example of, like, if you're looking for an agency, make sure that they understand your actual business needs, because her original designer should have known that she was going to be pushing data from a third-party system, and they shouldn't have designed a product page that doesn't work with her actual situation. So if you're looking for an agency, make sure you're really clear about how your business works, how your operations work, and make sure that they're building you something that's going to actually make your life easier and not harder. Another thing that happened, I had a client contact me because he has a custom form on his website that people use to submit support requests, and that custom form is supposed to push then over into his help desk system, and that connection broke and stopped working, and he couldn't figure out why. And I didn't set it up in the first place, so I wasn't really sure either. So I'm looking around, he's looking around, I'm trying to figure out where is this connection. There's no integration that I could find. Turns out that the third-party form builder he uses, Wufoo, got bought by SurveyMonkey, I guess, at some point in the past. And SurveyMonkey must have just changed all their billing. So even though he was subscribed to Wufoo, he got a credit card charge from SurveyMonkey, and he was like, well, I don't use SurveyMonkey, and so he did a chargeback. And so when he did that chargeback, Wufu changed his plan from a paid plan down to a free plan, and so his integration got lost. So it just made me realize, if you're an e-commerce merchant, make sure that when you set up your payment method and your payment gateway and your merchant services account, that you're using a name that your customers are going to recognize. Sometimes, people have an overarching LLC or an overarching corporate name that doesn't match their website. You can still customize that, what's going to appear on the payment statement, the credit card statement, and it's worth doing because if people see something that they don't recognize, they're going to do a chargeback. And chargebacks are not only frustrating because you lose the money, but they also charge you a fee if you lose the chargeback case. So just something to think about, and a way to make customers happy, and keep yourself from having to pay extra fees. And that's pretty much it for my week. Obviously, I did a lot of other stuff, but those were the three kind of takeaways. Oh, and one other thing I did want to mention, I did guest on a podcast called The Water Trough a couple weeks ago, and the episode went live. We talked about what I call serial starting, which is that I love starting new projects. They don't all come to completion. They're not all for making money. Sometimes I just have an idea and I get kind of obsessed with it in the short term, and I run with it and I build a website and then I never use it. But we had this really great conversation about how that process of letting yourself have the freedom and the creativity and kind of the joy of creating without putting pressure on yourself to complete it or to have it be something that is going to make you money or turn into a business is like a really enjoyable experience for me. So I'll put the link to the podcast in the description of this video below if you want to check it out. But I encourage people to, if you have an idea, go for it. And who cares if it ends up working or being successful, or if you abandon it. There's no reason not to try it, because you may learn something during it. I'm building a little side project right now that who knows if it'll be anything worthwhile, but I'm building it in WordPress, which I've used before, but I never had used WordPress with your themes or starter templates, and I've never used those before. So I just started using one, and I was like, oh my God, this makes the process so much easier. So even if this website doesn't come to anything, like, I learned a new skill, and so it was a valuable use of my time, and it was worth starting. So anyway, I'll put the link below if you want to check it out, and that is my recap for the week.